So my presentation is on the light pollution inequities in the continental United States. And why this matters is because the excessive use of artificial light at night is an environmental hazard known to disturb sleep patterns, trigger mental illness, and increase risks of various cancers in humans. For example, a South Korean study showed that higher levels of ambient light at night is highly associated with increased risk for breast cancer in women and prostate cancer in men. And the summary of this paper is basically marginalized groups and renters tend to experience greater exposures to ambient light at night. And okay, so the issue, why racial ethnic minority status and low socioeconomic status relate to disproportionate exposure to light pollution. There are three potential reasons. One is that locally unwanted land, some of which emit high levels of artificial nighttime light, cluster in socially disadvantaged US communities where minorities and low-income residents concentrate. The second reason is that privileged US communities where white and affluent residents concentrate, they have higher or have greater, they can influence social inequities and exposure to light pollution. And the third reason is that artificial lighting in socially disadvantaged neighborhoods as a means to support nighttime policing and surveillance by law enforcement authorities. And this is a bar chart of the groups who are most to least exposed to artificial night lights. As you can see, Asians, Hispanics, Blacks, and Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islanders have higher exposure to light than the national average, which is indicated by the gray bar in the middle. And notice that American Indian or Alaskan Native are the least exposed to artificial night lights. This finding may reflect how American Indian Alaska Native communities have been marginalized within geographically isolated and less economically productive rural landscapes. And in terms of how socioeconomic status influence the exposure to light pollution, renter occupants were associated with significantly higher light pollution. About a 38.8% increase in light pollution at night compared to the national average. And this is true for all population across the US, regardless of racial background. And here are two solutions to what we can do to solve this. One is increasing the use of warm colored LED bulbs, as they are less harmful to human health than cool colored bulbs, but they are equally energy efficient. And the second solution is to install motion sensors, timers, and directional filters so that light is emitted only where it is required by human activity. And that is my presentation.